Welcome to Discourse, a podcast about music as a medium for conversation. Our guest today is Mo County, a Los Angeles-based R&B singer-songwriter. His music is honest and relatable with a rich tone. Mo, you've been writing songs since elementary school and recording since middle school, and you say music is the most important and most consistent driving force in your life. Can you imagine what your life would look like without music in it?
I honestly can't. I really can't. It's honestly the only thing I've been able to keep up with, going from childhood to adulthood. So heavy on the most consistent force in my life for sure.
And how did you get started, making music? What kind of brought you to that point?
So when I was maybe 12 or 13, my dad bought me a keyboard, which I absolutely don't have anymore. But he bought me one just because I guess he could kind of sense my affinity for music a bit. And I took lessons for a very short time, but our, our our music program at our school, they cut funding, all of that. But anyway, I kind of got started then with trying to actually record music, and there was this free software that I downloaded onto the family computer in 2004. Um, and I know, uh, and, and I was in middle school, and so me and my friends would kind of toy with it. And that's how I got started recording music. By then, I had been writing songs for maybe 4 or 5 years and just wanted to hear how some of those songs came about. When I got to high school, that's when I really, really, really started recording a lot more. I had a friend of mine in high school. His name was Ephraim, and his family had some recording equipment, which was rare in the mid 2000s because back then it wasn't as accessible as it is now. So if you had recording equipment, like you really had to have the money for it. But they had a recording setup, and he let me come there after school, and he would let me record there for free. So that's kind of how I got started with recording. The songs I made back then obviously weren't great. I was, just starting out and still trying to find my sound, but yeah.
Nice. So would you say that music is your true love?
It is for sure.
Excellent.
It like I said, it's the one thing that I always come back to. I've tried a million other things. The side note, I'm neurodivergent, so sticking with anything is a lot. so so being able to stick with music as long as I have, that's always kind of um, the reassuring thing that I need to know that I'm supposed to do it. It's the only thing that I've really been able to stick with. It's the only thing that I find engaging enough to continue to come back to.
Nice. Well, that's perfect because Valentine's Day is this week and our theme is love songs. So get ready to get sappy. Music
Okay.
starts in three, two, one. This is Slow Jam by Usher and Monica. It was released on My Way on Sony Music in 1997. Mo, tell us about this song.
So this is one of my favorite covers of all time. As I told you guys before, I am a huge Usher fan, pretty big Monica fan too. Um, and the first time that I ever heard this record was actually watching the movie Soul Food as a kid. There's a scene in the movie where two of the characters slow dance for a little bit with this song playing in the background. And upon doing more research on the song as I got older, I realized that this song was a remake of a song by Midnight Star called Slow Jam, also produced by Kenneth Babyface Edmonds. So he produced the original and the remake.
Nice.
So I just thought that was super cool. I do prefer this version though.
I love this song. And it's one of those songs, I feel like this is like a love making song too.
Hmm.
Oh, yep,
Not just
yep.
a love song.
I hear it.
Yeah.
And for me, it's also the way with 90s R&B, there's a special way that the bass, the just the bass, the smooth bass in 90s R&B records is just
Yeah.
It's just very, very, very delicious. And these are the kind of records that I would put on as a teenager or even when I was in college. And I would just fall asleep to these kinds of records because they kind of really just take you on a ride. It's crazy because I picked this song and I haven't listened to it in such a long time.
Yeah.
Yeah, you could definitely hear this on the Quiet Storm.
Mm-hmm. Definitely. This is one of the things that sometimes I miss about the way that R&B was marketed back then, because this song could work. It could work on adult contemporary. It could work on urban AC. It could work in pop radio back then. It could work on R&B stations. And I think that was also part of the magic of a lot of R&B records back then, is they could really, really work on multiple formats.
Mm-hmm. And both of their voices are very complimentary, I think.
Yeah, yeah. Not to mention, they were both teenagers when they recorded this, if I'm not mistaken. Usher was born in, I think, 78. Monica born in 80. So, yeah, if I'm not mistaken, they were both either in high school or fresh out of high school when they recorded this.
Wow. No, they sound grown.
Yeah.
Grown.
You know that's how it was though. That's how it was then. They took, same with Brandy, same with a lot of the stars back then.
Yeah, that's true. I forget how young so many of those artists were when they were huge.
Yeah. They were like 15 or 16 with hit records out the gate, you know?
I'm looking at the song a little different.
I'm sorry?
I said I'm looking at the song a little different now, listening to the lyrics. The context a little bit.
Oh, we could have that conversation too. Trust. They were singing real grown to be 17. They were singing real grown.
I'm like, those sound too seasoned.
Yeah,
on this subject.
I can get into that in a second too.
Yes, times have changed. Yes.
I think a lot of that has to do with the fact that when they were developing talent back then, they wanted to reach as many demographics as possible. So by marketing the teenage acts to be a bit more mature, that could ensure that the adults would buy in as well as the kids.
True.
And you see that in the way Usher was marketed. You see that in the way Monica was marketed. Even the way that Aaliyah was marketed. Like a lot of those 90s R&B teen stars. Oh, come on. Oh, this is a classic.
All right.
And I'm a sucker for 80s pop.
Yeah. This is Never Gonna Give You Up by Rick Astley. It was released on Whenever You Need Somebody on BMG in 1987. Raja, talk about this song.
I know it's a meme. No, you're not getting rickrolled. I really like this song. I really do. It's about devotion. I think it's like peak 80s. And watching Rick dance. Come on now. Like, it's a good vibe. And it's a really sweet, romantic song, I think, when you listen to the lyrics. Who doesn't want to be given up, let down? I'm not going to run around and hurt you.
Mm-hmm.
Like,
I mean, we could say that Raja just like rickrolled all of us with the song.
I mean, maybe.
I thought about it. It's a good song.
It's a great. I actually listen to the song all the time when I'm cooking. I really like baking to the song.
Yeah.
It is one of those songs with a good beat to do anything to, like cleaning or baking or.
Mm-hmm.
I am going to admit that. Oh, I'm sorry. Go ahead. Go. I was going to say. Sorry. I'm sorry. No, you really go ahead. I'm zipping it.
That I feel like love songs like back in the day were actually about love. You know, I feel like love songs today are a little less They're more like, oh, I'm detached from you. Like these kinds of songs are like, they're like devotion, you know?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I'm sure it was a lot easier to be in love when your rent was $300, but
Fair enough.
the way everyone just sighed lets me know that I made a point.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You were definitely never gonna give that rent up.
No. It's like, what? My rent is $300. Sure, let's fall in love. Let's have a gang of kids. We can afford it.
Right.
We cannot.
Who can afford kids these days?
No.
We cannot.
I think having kids is like a luxury these days.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Where,
It's
and
like
where are you guys
luxury
located?
item.
We're scattered. I'm in North Carolina. So is Raja. Carla is in Spain.
Okay. What's So my family lives in North Carolina. They're in Rocky Mount. They're split
Nice.
between Rocky Mount and Montgomery County, Maryland, where I'm from. What's it like? What's the cost of living like these days in North Kakalaki?
That's a good question. I feel like it varies. It is.
Yeah.
I used to live in the Raleigh-Durham area, and I left
Okay.
because I couldn't afford to find a new place.
It is expensive. It's more expensive here. Like
Yeah.
a studio.
That is. I wouldn't think that. Wow.
Yeah, it's grown so much. People keep moving in, so it's hard. Like companies are
Okay,
buying up
driving the rent
houses,
up.
so yeah.
Got it.
It's
That makes
kinda
sense.
crazy.
That makes sense. And said that you were in Seattle,
No. In Spain.
in Spain.
Yeah.
Where did I get Seattle from?
I don't know.
I don't know. But I did think about moving to Seattle at some point.
I do love
okay.
Seattle. All right, this next song is Here, There, and Everywhere by the Beatles. It was released on Revolver on Parlophone in 1966. Carla, tell us about this one.
Well, I don't know. I feel like most of my favorite love songs, I feel like I fall in love to the Beatles. Like if I've liked somebody, I feel like I am a Beatles girl for that. And I just love the song because it's like, you know, wanting to be where your loved one is. And I just feel like the ooh that they have is kind of like, you know, it's the same thing that they have in Because the World is Round. It's kind of that dreamy, LSD-ish, druggy vibe that I feel like, you know, you get when you're in love as well. So, yeah.
Yeah, this
I
is a
also cried
beautiful
to this
song. It's
song.
very,
This is gorgeous. This is a
it's
gorgeous
like a very
record.
delicate song.
Yeah. And it's the beautiful lyrics. And I think we talked about this in another episode, like the simplicity of Beatles lyrics.
Mhm.
Yes.
And like, but it's like, they also do a really good job at like harmonizing, you know, and every.
I was just
even though
about
they're
to bring
saying
that
the
up.
Same thing. Yeah, go for it, Mo. Go for it.
I was gonna say the harmonies here really carry the song, and especially from that era. I know, especially the mid '60s and the '60s in general. My favorite pop act from the '60s was actually the Beach Boys, and I'm a really big Beach Boys
yes.
fan for the same reason. The
Yes.
harmonies and arrangements are so gorgeous, and they really help to carry those records.
Yeah.
And you hear that in a lot of the Beatles records as well. Harmonies.
And they were they competed with each other.
Yeah.
There's a lot of like good
Rivalry.
stories about that. Yeah. Yeah.
Right, this next song is All Day I Dream About by Joe P. It was released on French Blonde on Atlantic Recording in 2022.
Oh, nice. This is a newer one.
Yeah, so this is a TikTok find for me. So I think a lot of what I love about it is it has like fall vibes in it. So the chorus is, this year I think I'm gonna be a ghost on Halloween. Bring all my candy home to you so you get a cavity in your tooth and my heart won't be so easy to chew. Which I think is just beautiful. Like it's this idea of like, I feel like it's kind of, there's a complexity to it. Like, you know, it kind of captures that feeling of like being hopeful about a newer relationship, but also like recognizing how easily they could hurt you. So feel like, my heart won't be so easy to chew.
I'm looking this up right now.
Yeah, I love
on my
this
own
song
Spotify.
so much. Yeah.
So
When my current relationship was starting, like I latched onto this song and was just playing it on repeat over and over. It was the right time of year, leading into the fall. But also
What a
like
great time to fall in love.
Yeah. I think like it was the right vibe for me too, because like it's my first relationship after leaving my husband. Was actually I met this person way sooner than I was ready to date, but like something about him like clicked for me. I was like, before I even knew anything about him, like I was, just
it's
enamored.
beautiful when
I
it
guess.
happens that way.
Yeah. But then like it made me realize how unprepared I was. So like, that feeling of the hesitation was definitely in there. And I was like, this is crazy. I don't know this person. This must just be, like a step of the divorce process. Like, I'm going to get to know him and, like, it's just some person. Like, it'll be fine, whatever. But, like, after a year of seeing each other occasionally, we finally started dating.
That's beautiful. That's beautiful.
I love that.
Really strong, good associations with this song. But
that's amazing.
Yeah.
Although I've never experienced a divorce myself, I've been told that divorce is kind of like a death, and that dating afterwards can kind of feel like dating after grieving. So it's beautiful that, you know what I mean? It's really beautiful that you were able to open yourself up to that again.
Oh, thank you. I do like that representation of it, like, leaving that part of my life and going into another. It was kind of like a rebirth in a lot of ways. My life is drastically different and, in good ways. So a lot of people are scared of making choices like that, but I encourage everyone, whether it's, new job or new partner, like, you don't know until you try it. Yeah.
That's true.
Change can be really good. So that's round one. It's time for a message from our sponsor, but we don't have any yet. So here's some free promotion for the Papa. Yes, I've gotten completely unhinged now. We have long passed the companies. The Papa is a native fruiting tree ranging from Florida to Pennsylvania and beyond. They taste like a combination of banana and melon. They're surprisingly tropical, and I am obsessed with them. I'm going to try to grow some in my backyard. I actually found some like little tiny plants that I'm going to transplant into the sun and try to grow. They just recently started trying to produce them commercially because they are only good for like 3 days once you pick them. But foragers have known about them forever. The seeds were actually spread by mammoths back in the day, which I think is really interesting. And apparently possums love them. So Papas, they're one of my recent obsessions. They're amazing. Let's get into round two. All right, this song is Without You by Mariah Carey. It was released on Music Box on Columbia Records in 1993. Mo, tell us about this song.
Okay, so this is a remake of a remake. The original, I believe, was done by Badfinger in 1970. Covered by Harry Nilsson in 1972, and then recorded by Mariah, who had the most success with it in 1993. This is an iconic cover of hers, and the song that a lot of people credit for making her an international superstar. Her voice is very, very haunting in this, and I don't know, it's a perfect cover, man. It's a perfect and iconic cover that I come back to a lot. And it's a very forlorn, sad, almost makes you want to cry, song about a lover that you've lost, that you just can't can't be without. It's you know, it's the grief part of the relationship.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't think I knew that this was a cover.
Yeah.
I was gonna say
Yeah,
the
this is
same
not
thing.
originally
I
her.
was
She didn't write this one. She
Yeah,
wrote
I
a lot of
thought
hers, but she didn't write this one.
Yeah.
Sorry.
I thought this was also hers.
But yeah, this is this is one of my favorite covers.
Well, Mo, never mind what I just said about not being in my feelings after my breakup.
It is. It's a beautiful song. Period. And one that she's started to bring back in her set list a little bit more. So I appreciate that, of course.
I also think that, like, this is the kind of song that, you know, we grew up around as well, with, like, grief being that big part of love. And, you know, Andrew Garfield, who has been doing a lot of press around grief lately since the death of his mother, you know, said that we could reimagine grief as all the love we didn't get to give, rather than seeing it as a negative emotion.
Yeah.
That's beautiful. That is beautiful.
It
All
is.
the love that we didn't get to give.
Yeah.
That also reminds me of the show Fleabag. Are you familiar with that? It's a British comedy.
I've heard of it, yeah.
Early on, she's
Love
talking about
Fleabag, yeah.
losing her mother, and she's, with all that grief, she's like, I have all this love to give and nowhere to put it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And that's a big part of love too, right? Like, it's not just what we have to give, but if the other person is willing to receive our love.
Right.
You know, we think everybody wants to receive love, but not everybody is prepared to receive it.
That's a very good point. It's a very good point. Not everyone is prepared to receive love.
That's
Not
true.
at all. But yes, that's Without You.
We are getting deep.
Beautiful. This next
Oh,
song
come on.
is I Want You Around by Snow Allegra. Am I
Who chose
pronouncing
this
that
one?
correctly?
Yep.
Raja.
It's
Beautiful
I love
song.
this record name. It's it was released on Those Feels Again on RTM Recordings in 2019. Raja, tell us about this song.
I had the same thought too when I saw what it was released on These Feelings Again. I also am in a new relationship, which after having a rough previous relationship is, like we were talking about, just a beautiful transition. And then also confronting that, I'm feeling butterflies. And it's kind of uncomfortable. But, you know, it's like having that self-talk with yourself, like, it's okay, I want this person around. And I think the song is just, like, really sweet and vulnerable, intimate. I love the R&B and, like, vintage influences just in her voice and the music. And for me, it's, like, that coziness you get with the person you like or have interest in, and it's like I'm now voicing that I have these feelings and I'm comfortable enough to share them with you, so I think that's a nice stage to get to as well. It's like, yeah, I like you and I want you around.
Yeah.
I love that. Yeah, like, I get that, when you first
too.
are like, what is this feeling?
Yes.
I did not sign up for that feeling. Where is it coming from?
Exactly.
Yeah. It's kind
You
of
can't help
unnerving.
it.
Like, yeah. I think it's unnerving because it opens you up to vulnerability.
Yes.
And especially after a breakup, this is not the breakup songs, but I think, like, especially after a breakup, when you've gone through the healing process and you're kind of in that stage where you're not meeting anybody new, or, like, there's nothing going on, but you're just stable in your own life. When somebody else comes in, you're like, I don't know if I'm ready to open myself up to that risk again.
Yeah, it can feel like a threat. Like,
Yeah.
I found my peace, and now it's being disrupted.
Again.
Yeah.
By new
Again.
feelings.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah. And then you have to figure, like, I feel like love is for people who are brave. You can't expect to go into it if you're not brave.
Yeah.
Yep.
Bar.
Fear will keep you from so much.
Yeah.
As I am learning in my 30s, fear will keep you from a lot.
Yeah. Yeah. And it's crazy because, I mean, as the sex and relationship therapist, I see this all the time. People who are really in love with other people and, like, don't take that step because they're afraid, right? Well, if that person knows that my heart is there, you know, I might lose them. Yeah, but you might lose them anyway if you don't.
True.
That's
Very true.
it. Yeah. That is it.
And then you have space for new love once you figure out where you are with the other person.
Yeah.
Yeah, this song
classic.
is I Could Fall in Love by Selena Quintanilla.
Selena Quintanilla.
I think I've ever had to say her last name before. I was released on Dreaming of You on EMI Latin 1995. Carla, tell us about it.
Well, I love this song, and I think it's one of those classics that came up on the, like, late night radio. I remember, like, driving with my mom and listening to it. I mean, I love Selena for her Spanish music, which I listen to all the time. But I feel like this album is so special. Well, first of all, because it was released after she was dead. And there's a story by her husband, Chris Perez, which says that, like, he, like, would sit in this, when this album, you know, came out, they still had to record pieces of the music after she was dead. And he would, like, lay down in the studio and just play this song on repeat and cry. Oh, and, like, I'm getting, like, goosebumps.
My God.
And, you know, and this song has, like, it has a part that's in Spanish, too. But I feel like Selena's voice is, like, she was this beautiful artist, and I wish we would have gotten to see her blossom, but I feel like this song is so... like what we were talking about, that moment of, like, okay, I'm ready to step into love, and you know, I could fall in love with you, and, you know, like she says, if I could take my chance right now, tomorrow will you love me still? Like, it's uncertain, you know? You're really putting yourself out there.
That's where that fear comes in.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I could keep this to myself and never let go. And this chorus is so pretty. In love.
And I remember this is when they were going to try to transition her over into the pop market, right? With this album.
Yeah. And it was such a big hit, and not just because, you know, the news of her death was so tragic, but because it's a really good album too.
Song,
like,
it's a really good song and great album.
Yeah. This album also has, you know, Dreaming of You, which is also a big hit. So I hate that because she recorded a lot of really, really great material, and for her to not be physically here to see the success and the impact that this album in particular has had. Yeah.
And looking at that album cover, you can really see how young she was.
Yeah, she's 23.
She's 23.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. And such a bright person. This is the Spanish chorus, which she has said in interviews that she would laugh a lot, like, when she was recording this part, because it had that, like, amándote, you know, like that passion in it. But yeah, I mean, this is on my. It was hard to pick just 3 songs, but Selena is my girl for heartbreak, for falling in love, for dancing,
a hopeless
while
romantic.
They clean the house.
In the music, at least.
Yeah.
Well, kind of in her real life too, huh?
Yeah. I mean, she ran away to elope with her husband.
Yeah, if that's not hopeless romantic, I don't know what is. But she definitely championed love in and outside of her music.
Yeah, 100%.
You know, at some point I'm gonna have to put you down.
I was like, are you talking about love or the cat?
Oh my goodness.
Oh.
They're so lazy and they won't get a job. They won't contribute anything to the household.
Terrible.
That's how I feel about deadbeat boyfriends.
I'm gonna put you down now, okay? All right. I know. Come on. All right.
All right. This next song that's going to start in just a couple seconds is Big Dark Love by Murder by Death. It was released on Big Dark Love on Bloodshot Records in 2015. This is first of all, I love Murder by Death, which, you know, everyone, when they just see the name, think it's like a metal band or something. But they're like a folk rock band, and they have like, you know, a lot of dark themes in their music, which of course I love. But they're great storytellers. So this song, it kind of starts out painting the picture of, you know, sitting around kind of in your thoughts. And one of the lines early on is, I spit out the window. Oh, it hit someone. Isn't that fun? But it's not enough. And it's like these kind of quirky little side things in the storyline. But so this song kind of treats emotions like a haunting force. Kind of sounds a lot like addiction in parts. Which I feel like sometimes, you know, love or, you know, maybe not love, but like having a crush on someone, like it feels like this force that you kind of can't get away from. I like kind of exploring that darker side of that. And later in the song, there's a section that's, I know it's a big dark love, I know it's dangerous. And then it goes into like, let me in with my big dark love. It's kind of like this swelling momentum throughout the song. And it feels a lot like emotional baggage. Like especially if you've been through bad relationships and the possibility of, well, like we kind of said earlier, like the possibility of a new love or new relationship can feel kind of threatening. I feel like this kind of fits into that kind of theme really well. Needy kitties.
I really like music the song. I'm gonna add this.
Excellent. They have a lot of great songs.
Murder by Death. I'm looking them up right now as well.
There's another song called Fuego by them, which is, I love, there are a lot of lines in that one too. It says like, that one is like, it's been so long that even the rose hips are turning me on, which I think is really cute.
Oh, they've been at it for a while too.
Yeah, they've been around for a long time. They have a decent following, but they haven't like blown up.
Mm-hmm.
And I saw them live at Motorco earlier this year or last year. Yeah, they played at Motorco like twice within a month. I was like, really? But they were really good live too. And there are like 8 people in the band, so it took up like the entire stage. They're really good. And listening to their music, I always envision the lead singer as like a big burly guy, but he's like a really skinny, scrawny, like he still has a beard and everything, but like not what I pictured.
That's always so funny when you hear someone's voice and it's like, oh, that came from you.
Right? It's the same with Rick Astley too. Like that is not what I thought that voice would be coming from.
Yeah.
That one's a little more drastic, but
yeah, I like it.
And one more time, which album is this from?
Big Dark Love.
Okay. I'm putting these together in like a little mini playlist.
Excellent.
Found it.
Yay. I love it when people actually, you know, continue to listen to things I recommend. It makes me so happy.
Yes. I'm always expanding, always expanding. So.
Excellent. I love it. All right, that is round 2. It's time for a little production note. Discourse is produced in partnership with Hey Awesome Girl, a full-service marketing and creative studio on a mission to help female entrepreneurs build and grow companies that empower their lives. Become a part of their awesome community by visiting heyawesomegirl.com/grow. All right, let's get into round 3. This first song is I Believe in You and Me by Whitney Houston. It was released on The Preacher's Wife on Arista Records in 1996. Mo, tell us about this one.
This, of course, because once again, I thought the original theme was covers. This is another cover song. So this was originally done by the Four Tops in 1983 with Levi Stubbs on lead. This is by far one of my favorite Whitney records. One of my favorite remakes of hers. And I mean, Whitney has a lot of great remakes, but this is definitely one of my favorites. And it just feels like winter. This song, to me, when I put it on, it feels like winter. It comes from a soundtrack of a Christmas movie. And this song, for me, obviously it's a love song, but it brings back so many memories of early childhood memories of 97, 98, of my dad and stepmom in the kitchen making like a Sunday breakfast for everyone. We were a big family. I'm the oldest of 8. And
oh, wow.
Mm-hmm. And so I can just remember this playing on a little boombox, because that's what we did back then. You had the little boombox with the tape deck and the CD player on top. And somehow those little bad boys would fill up an entire room with sound. And yeah, so this brings back so many beautiful memories of that. And as I go to see my family for Thanksgiving, it'll be my first time after my grandmother passed earlier this year. And so it'll just be so it'll be nice to see everybody. And this is one of our movies that we would get together and watch during the holiday season. Doesn't matter how old we get, we still watch this movie as if we were little kids. But yeah, this is just a great song. It's a great song. There's so much magic in Whitney's voice. This is like one of her last big career hits. She had a few others after this one: Heartbreak Hotel, My Love Is Your Love, It's Not Right. It's Not Right, But It's Okay. But yeah, she looked gorgeous in the video, and there's not much more I can say that I haven't said already. This song is the perfect embodiment of a winter love. And I say winter love because the theme of the song isn't Christmas, but if you kind of close your eyes, you can almost feel the snow falling, while hugged up with someone that you love. So I love that about this record. That was really long-winded. Sorry.
Oh, no, you are perfectly good.
And this is from the film with Denzel.
Yes, The Preacher's Wife. Yeah, this was a
wild
1996
movie.
film.
Wild movie. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's what I'm thinking about, this lovely song and that wild concept.
Yeah, man. God sends this angel to help this family while the angel falls in love with the wife of the preacher that he's trying to. Oh my God.
Oh, that's
that
right.
Was wild. Yeah. It's wild, but
I think, it is also a great cast because
It is.
True.
who can't fall in love with Denzel?
Right? All right, this next song is Gonna Love Me, remixed by Teyana Taylor, featuring Ghostface Killah, Method Man, and Raekwon. It was released as a single on Getting Out Our Dreams, Inc., Def Jam Recordings, 2018. Raja, tell us about this one.
I think this is one of the more realistic views of love of my choices. Because I was thinking, what's kind of like a realistic thing that we see even not just in life but like on TV sometimes. It's not always smooth sailing. And this song, in the music video, Tiana Taylor, like it opens with her having an argument with her boyfriend, like plates are being thrown and things, and then the rest of the song she's like walking and she goes to a party. But it's about how there's like a push and pull sometimes in relationships when you're still trying to figure out the other person, but also being able to confront those issues and apologize. So you'll hear Tiana apologize in the chorus, but also people who are from the Wu-Tang share different versions of how they are in relationships. And I think it's a nice contrast between Tiana Taylor's like R&B, smooth butter feel, and then the rapping from Ghostface, Method Man, and Raekwon. And they all have different flows. And so I think it's just cool how it's showing how different people show up in relationships.
I like that.
I wanted to add Tiana Taylor and all of these New York rap giants. This is like this song in general is an R&B hip hop East Coast dream, because it's definitely like a street love kind of personified, and she rides the beat really really well in this song, as do the rappers that are featured. I mean, and come on, like you got a portion of Wu-Tang on a record, like it. And I would say that this song gets the same response now that it did when it was first released. And if you are at any function, if you are at any little event and this song comes on in the background, you will quietly hear people start singing along. It's one of those records that really, yeah. And the original is actually pretty short too, if I'm not mistaken. The original is maybe 2.5 minutes, but this is definitely one of Tiana Taylor's best. And if I can honestly go out on a limb and say this is probably her signature song to me. This is if she had a signature song, this is the one. This is definitely the one. Classic from her, for sure.
I can see that. And you just make me think of the video too. She has a doobie rap in the beginning with the big knocker earrings.
Like that, which is such an iconic. It's like, it's almost like she's walking to the bodega after getting into an argument with her boyfriend to get, like, I don't know, a soda and a Black and Mild or something like that. It is it is very like it. You know what I mean? It's very. You know, we've all taken a walk. We've all had to take a walk after getting into an argument with someone we love, right? And that's what the video kind of looks like. That's what the video kind of looks like, and I love that. So this is
a second the thought on taking a walk when you've had an argument. Yeah.
Yep. You just gotta clear your head.
Fresh
you gotta
air,
clear your head. You gotta
if you can.
So I've done that with family plenty of times.
Yeah.
Great choice, by the way. Great choice.
And Method Man.
And that guitar riff. Okay, don't get me started. That's a great one.
All right. This next one is One and Only by Adele. It was released on 21 on XL Recordings in 2011. Carla, tell us about this one.
Well, I had the honor and privilege to see Adele sing this live last year in Vegas. It was a month of rent, but it was worth it.
I knew those tickets were crazy.
Yeah, I mean, I paid like $750 for the ticket plus how much it takes to stay in Vegas, but I saw her right there. So it was
got
great.
it.
I love this song. I think this is in 21. I can't see the playlist, but
21.
I feel like this song to me it hits that that need to be chosen in love, you know? And I've always said if I ever get married, that this would be like on the top 3 songs of like that first dance that people do. Just because it's such a pure love song, you know, like I dare you to let me be your one and only, promise I'm worthy, you know? Mm-hmm. And just Adele is such a beautiful, you know, songwriter as well. She does great covers, but I think this is one of hers. Mm-hmm. And I don't know, it always hits me in that her voice is so beautiful. Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Adele is another one that that she is great at making music that just is able to reach so many different demographics at once. And I remember I was in college when 21 came out, and it was everywhere. It was everywhere. I wasn't really old enough to remember, but I feel like this is what it felt like when Whitney dropped the Bodyguard soundtrack.
Yeah.
And she was on the radio like every 3 minutes. Like, I feel like that's what this was for Adele. And every single song was a hit. Rolling in the Deep was a big hit. Someone Like You was a big hit. Set Fire to the Rain was a big hit. You know what I mean? It was... It's such an iconic album.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and she has that cover of Make You Feel My... I mean, just like... This is a huge... I mean, it was the album that like propelled her. I mean, 19 was a great album too.
Yeah, of course.
But it was more her experimenting, you know. And I actually have this album on vinyl because I bought the vinyl just because of this song. Wow. And I was actually in high school when 21 came out, like a senior year of high school. And I remember Someone Like You was the song, you know, like. That angsty teenage time. But it's such a good song, and like I think it resonates. I'm 30 now. 30 came out in 2021. Mm-hmm. And I have 30, and I'm like, I can see how this I would have felt at 21, and this I definitely feel at 30. You know, all great albums. And I mean, live, I feel like Adele is one of these people that like feels her songs, and so much of her music has a piece of her in it. Because even when she sings, she gets emotional about what she's singing about, and I think like, and this goes back to our theme of I know it's not easy to give up your heart, you know, but like being able to do that, and I think like after 19, 21, and 25, where she was like heartbroken, finding herself, like finding that empowerment, and she was 6 years, and you're like, well, she's happy, so she has nothing to write about, and then bam, 30, it's like she breaks her own damn heart. So that also gives you perspective into like the seasons of our lives. Like, it's not always about finding it and having what you thought you wanted. It's figuring it out if that's really is what you want, you know?
Yeah.
And I feel like 30 for me is one of those albums, like I think discovering something in your 30s is that love is about you, not so much about the other person. You know, it's a personal process.
That's a good nugget.
I can't find it, but I used to have her I'm sorry, did I cut someone off?
No, I was singing the chorus.
I had the live from Royal Albert Hall concert. I cannot find it. I had it on Blu-ray, but I have to look for it. I this album was really, really it for me, and that was a beautiful concert.
Yeah. And the thing with Adele is that she sounds exactly the same when she's live. I think even better live. Like, I have never... It's my top concert of all time. It'll be hard to top. And now she's going away again.
Oh, she is?
Oh, yeah. Yeah, she's like, oh, bye. She loves to do that. She'll give out it. She'll give us an album and Right.
Well,
She'll give us
I
an
love
album
that,
and a
though.
tour, and she'll be like, "All right,
Yeah.
bye, guys."
She's
I need
setting
to get on that
boundaries. I love
vibe.
it.
Yeah,
An
I need to get on that
artist
vibe
life,
of working 5 years and then taking 10 years off.
Absolutely. All right, this last song is She Kissed Me, and it felt like a hit by Art Brut. It was released on Wham Bang Pow Let's Rock Out on Alcopop Records in 2018.
Nice.
So I love this band just because they have that kind of punk feel, and they're also just very cheeky. So Art Brut means raw art in French. This is a London indie rock band. And it's really about being in that like early love bubble. So some of the lyrics are, "Let's go to the cinema and sit in the back because we don't want the film distracting us." And it says something about not caring about friends, like rolling their eyes at them. So it's just really cute. And it starts off kind of painting this picture of, new romance and enjoying it. And then the interlude kind of backtracks and kind of it's almost like a skit in a way, kind of describing how they first met, talking about like being too shy to approach her. And then he finally walks over and it transitions back into the chorus, "She kissed me, and it felt like a hit." It's really it's really cute and lighthearted in a lot of ways. I just love it.
I like how the music builds with the anticipation of it.
Yeah.
This kind of reminds me a little bit of... Oh, go ahead, Heather.
Oh, no, go ahead.
It reminds me a little bit of that song, like A Wild Thing. It's like, "Wild Thing, you make my heart sing," which is like just not in the sound, but in kind of like that like lightheartedness.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And then the chorus changes a little bit. The last version of it is, "She kissed me and it felt like a hit. I could taste the potential in it," which I think is like such a great expression of like that. Why it's so exciting in the beginning is there's so much potential in a possible, future possible like best relationship.
I didn't get hit at first, but I get it now.
Yeah.
Like a hit song. I thought it meant like a physical hit, like in the stomach.
Oh, yeah, no, I think it's more like a drug hit.
Oh, so yeah.
That's my assumption, although it could be like a smack, getting knocked out.
Mm-hmm. So many ways to interpret.
Right?
I think it is drug.
Yeah, well, I mean, with the sound of it, I would assume, but
Yeah.
Love the horns, by the way. The horns are very Motown era. I love it.
Yeah.
It makes me think of the song, of course, I'm thinking about Shrek, I believe.
Oh.
When they say, I believe.
Yeah.
By
yeah.
who?
I don't know who it's by. It's I Believe from the Shrek soundtrack.
Okay. I think I already know what you're talking about.
Yeah, I can't place all the details together, but yeah.
That was another great one.
That's
I love
homework.
that one as well.
Excellent. That's so exciting. Thank you. All right, that is our show, everybody. Need to pick a winner. Mo, I'll give it to you. You had some good, and you had the double theme, the sneak double theme. That was pretty. That was pretty cool.
The accidental double theme.
Yes, we'll give you credit.
But that worked perfectly. Imagine you had done like other types of covers.
Yeah.
Yes. Thank you.
Well, thank you so much for joining us. Where can people find you online?
So you can find me on Instagram at Mo County the Homie, on TikTok at Mo County the Homie, on Twitter at Mo County Music, and Facebook you can just research Mo County. You could just type into the search bar Mo County and I'll come up. So Mo County, like a county that you live in. So thank you.
Awesome. Well, we will be back with another episode every week, so be sure to hit subscribe. You can follow us everywhere at Discourse Podcast. That's Discourse with 2 C's. And of course, find the playlists with all the songs on Spotify and Tidal. You've been a wonderful audience. Good night.
Good night.
Bye.